Listen, Chris Brunt first.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about it, Tony?
No, I was disappointed. I think everybody at the football club, everybody in football was disappointed with it. I think the whole incident was disgraceful. I don't think we want to see things like that in our sport. It's the greatest sport, greatest game in the world. And, people get disappointed when you lose. I accept that, and supporters get disappointed when you lose. But to do something like that to someone who's been at the club for 9 years and played over 300 games, is unacceptable. It's happened. You have to deal with it, and you have to move on, and we have to move on. This is a very, very famous football club. It's one of the founder members. It's a wonderful football club. It's got great supporters. I think we have most probably one of the oldest group of supporters in England, and they've seen some really, really good times and some bad times at the football club. And the thing that, speaking to Albion supporters, the thing that I think really disappoints them is the fact that the football club has been shown up for something it isn't. And that is, it's traditionally, it's a very, very honourable club who, stick behind their players and stick behind their team and their club.
It seems to be a current thing. There was a coin throwing incident at Chelsea as well. How do you stop it, Tony?
Like I say, I don't know. It's football reflects society at times, and you'll always get small minorities who will do things that are unacceptable. And it's just crazy, Rob. We're very, very fortunate in this country to have one of the great leagues in world football, and we have to keep it that way, and we have to make sure that we deal with it very swiftly and strongly, and make sure we rid it of our game, of this wonderful game of ours.
It's bizarre that it came from one of your own supporters.
No, I think that's that obviously that was the big disappointment, and the fact that Chris had been at the club for such a long time. I think he's played over 300 games. But we want to draw a line under it. The response that we've had as a football club from the majority of our supporters has been absolutely fantastic. And they're the true supporters. They're the ones that we concern ourselves with. But like I say, every club up and down the country will have a small element of supporters who go beyond what is reasonable, and that was beyond.
And the majority of Albion fans have reacted by saying, right, don't chuck coins at the players, chuck them in a bucket, put it to charity, and that's the campaign that they're doing this weekend.
Well, it's like I say, it's ridiculous, Rob, that we're and it's sad that we're even sat here talking about it.
4 away games in 2 weeks. I've done the sums, 1,070 miles there and back to all of those.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks, but that's the way it is. That's the way. We obviously wanted to win the game against Reading as well, so that was a massive disappointment for us. But now we move on. We've got 12 cup finals left. They're massive games for us. We've got to make sure we approach every game in the right manner and get as many points as we can now, from now until the end of the season. We still haven't got anywhere near the 40 that we want and the 40 that's needed. So we've got to be really focused. And the players have been good this week. They've worked really hard.
You've got exactly the same record away from home in the Premier League as you have at home.
Yeah.
Does that say to you need to make the Hawthorns more of a fortress if you can?
Well, I think it was very similar when I first came into the football club last year. I think the home form wasn't that brilliant. And, there's all reasons for it, Rob. But I don't care how we get the points, as long as we get the points, whether they're home or away. But we have to get those 40 points in as quickly as possible, because it is, and it has been, such an unusual season.
I've been at the Hawthorns squad a few times myself this season, and the home fans haven't always made it easy for you. They've booed you off at half time and things. Is that
but I think you get. I think you get that. Like I say, we're no different to any other club. We played at Goodison the other week, and they got absolutely pelted. When we scored and when we won the game. So it's no difference, Rob. No difference. It's the way it is, and you have to accept that if you're not putting in performances that the supporters want and what they expect, then they're going to let you know. They pay good money for it, and I think as a manager, as players, as people involved in it, that's acceptable. I think to take criticism, you have to accept that. I think going the other way, if you take it the other way, throwing coins at people is unacceptable.
Has it changed though? You've been in management an awful long time. The attitude of the crowd, how quickly fans are to turn.
Expectations. The world's moved on. Expectations. They want everything instant. You know, you can pick a phone up and talk to people. You can send messages on the other side of the world straight away and get a message back straight away. It's instant. Everything is instant today, and I understand that. And I think the majority of managers in our game now understand that. I think the majority of the players understand it. It's the way it is. You know, if we didn't like it, we wouldn't be in it.
Palace, your old club. £10 million on Kabay, £5 million on Wickham, 3.5 on Alex McCarthy. You didn't have that sort of money to spend, did you, when you were there?
Well, irrespective of what, I had a wonderful time at Palace. It was fantastic. Was it 6-7 months? There's quite a few players still there. Great lads, worked really hard, and we had a fantastic time. And good club. I bump into Palace supporters all the time, and they're exactly the same as every. It's tribal in this country. Every other supporter of a football club, they're passionate about their football club, and it's it's nice to sit and talk to them. But on Saturday we'll do our damnedest to make sure that we win and stop Palace from winning.
I know you're going to tell me you're thick-skinned and you just let it wash over you, but when you see that money available after you've gone, if you
that's gone. That's gone. That's what has happened. You move on. Sometimes you get what you want. Sometimes you don't get what you want. Sometimes things move in ways that you don't expect them to. But that's football and that's life. That's life in general, Rob. I've got tremendous respect for the supporters there. They were absolutely fantastic to us and the players.
They had a great start to the season. They've let it slip a little bit since then. They've lost 6 out of the last 7.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit like us. They've missed some of their top players. I think Punchin being out. I think McCarthy being out. I think Balassi being out. People like that who make the difference for that team. Clubs, if you're outside the top 5 or 6, if you lose your best players or if you lose certain players, then your team will struggle, without a question of a doubt. And we've had it a little bit here. Palace have had it a little bit there this year. And it's just a fact of life. You have to accept it. You have to get on with it. Sometimes people don't understand and recognise, the difference that there is. I did an interview yesterday, and they asked me about, the Seidel situation. Well, if you'd have taken Kane out of Tottenham's team for the first half of the season, if you'd taken Vardy out of the Leicester team for the first half of the season, and let's not forget, Seidel's been that sort of player for this football club. Last year, his goals kept us up. So you miss these players, and they're big players for you. And Palace have missed people like Balassi, Punchin. Punchin's an exceptional player. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, Jason. But they're good players, and they've missed good players.
Team news for Albion? Anybody struggling?
Well, we're hoping Johnny Evans might be fit, so with fingers crossed that might be a big bonus for us. And then we'll look at 1 or 2 others that have got little knocks and niggles.
Thank you, mate.